And welcome back to Subculture on centralcoastradio.com. There was something that we quickly wanted to talk about today before we actually go on to the next show. I want to leave you today with a couple of tracks from a very, very special documentary that is about to come out. We had the privilege this week of being able to attend the brand new documentary about the story of John Farnham's life. Now, it was the world premiere that we attended at the Astor Theatre. The film is not actually out until May 18th, but we thought today, leading into next week's Popcorn Conspiracy, we would leave you with a few tracks and talk a little bit about the world premiere of John Farnham Finding Your Voice. It was a pretty emotional affair, as you would expect at the Astor Theatre this week. It was emotional because of the fact that two of the driving forces behind this film were Olivia Newton-John and Glenn Wheatley. Unfortunately, Glenn Wheatley passed away from COVID during the pandemic, and of course, Olivia Newton-John lost her battle with cancer, which makes this film even more powerful in a part, because you are watching this film, and for the first part of the film, Glenn Wheatley and Olivia Newton-John play such an important part to the telling of John's story with the way that the film is structured. But then all of a sudden they just disappear, and there's a heartbreaking interview with Gaynor Wheatley, who talks about the fact of what happened to Glenn. And that group, together with what we know that John Farnham is going through at the moment as well, is kind of heartbreaking. So that air was over the entire night. But at the same time, everybody wanted this to be a celebration of John's life to date. And that was the strong emotion of the night at the Astor Theatre. It was hosted by Richard Wilkins, who got up and he interviewed the directors and producers of Finding Your Voice. He also interviewed Gaynor Wheatley, who did an absolutely amazing job of holding everything together as she spoke about what this film means to her and what it meant to Glenn. Then we got an update from John's family. His two sons got up and spoke. Now, on the morning that the world premiere of this was on, I won't mention any names, but a journalist went to air on TV talking about the fact that he'd been led to believe that John was extremely sick again. His family put out a statement prior to the premiere saying that was not true, and Rob Farnham reiterated that at the world premiere by saying that his father is doing as well as can be expected at the moment, and whether that means that he'll ever sing or not, we don't know. That was exactly what he said. Whether it means he will sing or not, we don't know. But I took that as pretty good news. The fact that they're talking about there may be a possibility that John might sing again one day. I found that really, really interesting that Rob would actually word it that way. So we will have our full review of this brilliant documentary next week in the Popcorn Conspiracy. So make sure that you're listening. We'll also try and talk about it as well in Subculture next week. But we thought we would leave you with two very special tracks from the documentary, just because it was such an important doco. The Jimmy Barnes, Daryl Braithwaite, all of those, they also provide a very, very powerful part of this documentary. So we thought, hey, let's start the celebration of this documentary coming out a little bit early, and we'll leave you with a couple of tracks from this amazing doco. You're listening to centralcoastradio.com, and this is Subculture.